To begin to effectively show the intersection of two functions on a graph, it is best known to make an xy chart. So to begin, let's simply make an xy chart. Where x is our input values, f of x will be our first y, and g of x will be our next column. Some people might consider this as y1 and y2. Whichever way you want to think about it is just fine. We're going to start at -1 here, move to 0, move to 1, and move to 2. When we input -1 for f of x, our output is 3. When we input -1 for g of x, our output is -6. When we input 0 for f of x, our output is 1. When we input 0 for g of x, our output is -2. When we input 1 for f of x, our output is -1. When we input 1 for g of x, our output is 2. When we input 2 for f of x, our output is 3, or -3, I'm sorry. And when we input 2 for g of x, our output is 6. So we can look and we can start to analyze our graph. We can see that the range from 3 to -6 is 9. The range from 1 to -2 is 3. The range from -2 to -1 to 2 is 3. And the range from -3 to 6 is 9. So we can see that our range is the smallest between 0 and 1. So I'm guessing our approximation is somewhere between 0 and 1. Let's graph to confirm. Here's our x-axis, here's our y. We have 1, 2, -1, -2. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, our graph is not drawn to scale by any means, but it should do the job for what we're trying to do. We'll start at -1 for f of x. -1 at 3, 0 at 1, 1, -1, and 2, -3. So our graph is moving in this kind of direction, it looks like. Okay, and this is f of x. G of x, we'll do the same thing. Let's start at -1 here, and we're going to be down at -6, which looks like it's in this area. 0 is at -2. 1 is at 2. And 2 is at 6, so I'm guessing it's up here somewhere. So our graph seems to be moving in this kind of direction. So we notice that our intersection is somewhere in this nature. We don't know what point that is yet, though. We're going to figure that out in 1 second. Okay, so if you notice from our problem, it says y equals f of x and y equals g of x. By substituting g of x in for y, we achieve the equation g of x equals f of x. So by solving this equation for x, we should be able to figure out the intersection point of our x coordinate. So let's do that. 4x minus 2 equals -2x plus 1. Add 2x plus 2x. 6x minus 2 equals 1. Add 2, add 2. 6x equals 3. Divide by 6, divide by 6. X equals 1/2. This shows us that our x coordinate lies at x equals 1/2. Now that we know that our x coordinate lies at x equals 1/2, all we need to do is substitute x equals 1/2 into either equation. So let's use f of 1/2. That's going to equal -2 times 1/2 plus 1. -2 times 1/2 is -1 plus 1 equals 0. So our coordinate where the intersection lies is at x equals 1/2, y equals 0. Thank you for listening, and if you need to review anything, feel free to rewind. Thank you.